Okay, welcome back everybody. Sam the electrician here, speaking about Western independence and Alberta separation. As you all know, a few days ago, Wexit founder Peter Downing wrote an open letter to Premier of Alberta Jason Kenny, and I just wanted to discuss that today. I have the letter here in front of me. I've left a link in the description below, and I left a link in a previous video as well, so you should go over and give it a read for yourself, and feel free to leave any comments on the videos if I left stuff out, or if you disagree or agree with anything that Mr. Downing says. I think there's a lot in here, so it's a pretty good document. He basically starts out by reminding Jason Kenny of the inequity in how the country was set up, and how in Confederation the West has always sort of been the whipping boy of Ottawa and the East, as it were. And he points out a lot of the social and legal framework inequities that make us out here feel that we've been underrepresented and overtaxed, and why we're all fed up with it and it's time for a change. Then he goes into the 8 points of essentially a modified version of the firewall letter, which are very good. They're a very important step for Alberta to take on the road to independence. So he also makes an emotional appeal to Mr. Kenny's political ambitions, and asks him to consider becoming president of the new Republic of Western Canada and give up his designs on the Prime Ministership of Canada. It was worth a try. Politicians are extremely ambitious people, and it is what drives them. They think along the same lines, so it was an appeal that would definitely, I'm sure, given some pause, and I'm sure Mr. Kenny has even considered the possibility of becoming possibly the first president of the Republic of Western Canada and going down in history as one of the last people, that may be voted in as a leader of a new country. It must have some level of appeal for him. However, he is an avowed federalist. He said it himself. I say it over and over again on this on my channel here. I don't believe he's going to jump on board with the rest of us, and I think his time is actually fading. Albertans are actually a little angry at him with his creeping tax bracket, and some of the budget cuts, of course, have angered the nurses and teachers. But that's a topic for another video. Anyway, then he goes on to tell Mr. Kenny that he will never become Prime Minister of Canada, and that kind of language, I think, it's not a threat, but it's people don't like to be told what they can and can't do, obviously, especially Albertans. And so Wexit, telling him that he will never be Prime Minister, as true as it may be, in the opinion of many people, Mr. Kenny probably feels otherwise, or else he would have probably jumped on board by now. Anyway, and then it gets into the 8 points, which are great. Immediately end Alberta's policing contract with the RCMP, commission an Alberta Bureau of National Investigation for federal investigation in Alberta, safeguard each individual Albertan by reclaiming all CPP contributions from Ottawa, and commission a portable and properly funded Alberta pension plan to protect and enhance the retirement savings of all Albertans. I spoke of this on a video recently, and that is a very important and great step. If we can get that done, regardless, I think it'll benefit all citizens of Alberta. Number 3 is also very important. Terminate Ottawa's encroachment on exclusive provincial jurisdiction by prohibiting federal payroll deductions. Direct taxation is the jurisdiction of the Albertan government. I like that as well. We don't need CPP being taken off our checks. and we should collect all the taxes. That would end transfer payments, basically. Assert full provincial control over immigration, as Quebec currently does. Nothing wrong with that. Protect our borders. Assert full control over firearms regulation, as policing is a provincial matter. This is a key, important step that needs to be taken regardless. I believe that we do not need to be told our firearm control laws by the people of the Greater Toronto Area and Montreal, which is what's happening right now. They live in a very different situation than us. Very, very different. And we need our own laws, and we need to police ourselves on this sort of thing. Withdraw from the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation as the financial guarantor of home mortgages in Alberta. And then he adds, this responsibility must be transferred to the Alberta Treasury branch. I don't know if I completely agree with that, of choosing one business. Something should be set up, but whether it's Alberta Treasury branch or not, we'd have to have some discussions about that. And then his 8th point is kind of, I'm not too sure on, require itemized invoices for all federal services rendered. No monies are to be paid to Ottawa unless proof of service is validated. If we're going to leave, then we don't need anything from the federal government other than for them to just get out of our business and let us be and let us make our own way into the future. So yeah, as I've said before, it's an open future. We are the ones that will make it. The only people that can stop us are ourselves. Don't let them cast doubt in your heart, and keep pushing forward. And one day we will be free. Take it easy.